First of all, Tony Gonzalez. What's up, Tone?
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. What do you guys? It's a late show out there, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, we're burning the midnight oil. Congrats on the job, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I tell you what. I mean, up till 3 years ago, I didn't even know I was going to be doing something like this. Honestly, I didn't even want to go into television.
Is that true?
Talking about football. Because at that point, I had enough. I was like, man, I don't want to talk about football for another 5 minutes.
Well,
forever.
Not to kiss your ass, but you're one of those guys, if you're your agent, you're probably salivating because you could probably do anything. I mean, can you act? Have you ever considered that?
I did a couple plays, I guess, when I was a kid, and I've done a couple of the cameo things. But nothing. I live out in L.A., too, so I guess I tried for a little while. But
dude, you could play the villain in one of those gladiator movies in a heartbeat. Just throw a gun on you or something. And, it's like you're talking. Well, but, listen, I think a lot of people figured you would take a job like this. And you got street cred like crazy. I mean, all these records as a tight end, played on some great teams. What I think is a Hall of Fame career, right, John? I mean, he's a Hall of Fame tight end.
Absolutely. First ballot, no doubt, he is going. Even though he went to Cal.
How do you feel? I know you're probably going to be humble, but how do you feel about that?
I feel good. I mean, I get that question every once in a while. It's been a lot of hard work, and just to even have people say that about you, and
it's amazing.
That's freaking crazy. I mean, you look up. I mean, because that's something I never ever tried to be when I was coming into the league. I just wanted to play and get on the field. That was it.
All with one team, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No,
Ray, you went
Falcons.
Oh, Falcons. That's right. I'm sorry, but mostly with the Chiefs. Mostly with the Chiefs.
Well, yeah.
For 12 years and Falcon for 5 years.
Falcons for 5 years. Yeah, and I mean, listen, and you're a guy, what do you think of the changes in the league? It doesn't sound like you seem to be, you sound brighter than most scientists you talk to. I think you beat the concussion rap. How do you feel about that? Any concussions or injuries you're worried about down the line? Or how do you feel about the way the league's going with that?
Well, I think it's a good direction. Obviously, people aren't used to seeing the action the way it's going now. And a lot, they're calling all these flags for people to headhunt out there. But that's how the game was played. That's how you were taught when I was coming up.
Exactly.
When you played, I mean, that was part of. They wanted to knock you out of the game. They wanted the crowd to say "ooh" and have the guy get up wobbling or actually knocked out on the field. And,
I agree with you. I agree with you. And don't you think this new rule? You saw this, the 15-yard penalty for saying the N-word. Don't you think that's coddling people, like protecting? Black people can't protect themselves, so we'll protect them. How about just let them fight it out on the field? Don't you think that rule is ridiculous?
Yeah, well, honestly, I'm telling you, this rule is not for racism. It's the black guys calling each other that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, well, but so why are they putting a rule there just to make it less obnoxious? Like, why even make it a penalty?
I think probably because the technology with football now. I mean, they got all these microphones out in the field. They got the camera out in the field. You can pick that stuff up.
Okay, good point. Right.
Yeah, I think the one respect that I appreciate it. And you hear a lot of guys say, "Hey, in my community, we don't want to teach our young kids to say that." So that's the one respect.
That's a good point.
That I like this rule. I think. You could throw a flag on every play for this rule, though.
So why you need mics on the field then? Who cares? I mean, it's just let them play, right, Don? Or do you need the mics there?
Well, the people, like my last game that I played as a pro, they put a microphone on me just because they want to get that reaction.
Right.
That's the coolest thing. I love watching guys, Peyton mic'd up out there.
Yeah.
And it's not him obviously saying the word, but then other people, it'll just pick it up sometime and they just don't want that. And I kind of agree with it, too. I think it's ridiculous when they use that word anyway, in the locker room, out of the locker room. But that's something I think the NFL, I don't know. I do see what you're saying as far as coddling people. But
your point, you made a good point. It's not about that. It's about the mics picking it up and not wanting kids. I mean, kids watch the NFL. They don't want them to hear it.
Hey, Tony, what do you think about the Jimmy Graham situation? I heard they're still millions and millions apart on reaching a deal right now, the Saints and Jimmy.
I think it's I don't know.
What are they doing?
Chance to,
What are they doing? It seems like a slam dunk, right?
The guy, if you look at his production and what he brings to the table as far as that offense goes, and I'm sure Drew would probably say this too. Obviously, he's not going to get involved because he can't do that. But you got to pay him, and it's going to cost him right around $9.5, $10 million dollars, and he's worth it. He's worth every penny.
Absolutely.
He's a mismatch every time he goes out in that field. He's a mismatch.
Yeah, even this year hurt almost the whole season. I mean, he was unstoppable.
Look at the numbers he's putting up.
Yeah,
it's crazy that they don't want to pay him, but that's how it goes in the NFL. I think it's the only sport. You look at hockey, baseball, basketball, all those teams. They don't really care what position you play. If you're productive, they're going to give you a lot of money.
They pay you, man. Right. Absolutely. A second baseman who hits 280 is making $8 million a year at least.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like in New Orleans, remember it was like pulling teeth getting Drew Brees a deal.
Yeah.
That's
ridiculous.
I just don't get it. What about the your former team, the Falcons? Have you heard the rumors that they may be trying to move up in this draft for Jadeveon Clowney?
I have not heard that rumor.
No.
No one called me, but
I wouldn't put it past them.
They'd have to go to number one. What are they?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree with that because they already traded away a whole lot of players.
Yeah.
That hurt us.
Well, yeah. Did you think that? This past season, I felt like the Julio Jones trade was kind of rearing its ugly head when he went down, and you lacked the depth to do what you needed to do on the line of scrimmage. I mean, do you think that hurt you guys this year?
Yeah, I think it did, but you don't anticipate it because the year before it helped us because he's such a dynamic player, and it was worth every bit of that trade because we almost went to the Super Bowl. We're one play away from going to the Super Bowl, but then obviously when he gets hurt, and it wasn't just him, it was all the other players that went down, and our backups, usually where you got a third and second and fourth round guys backing him up. These guys are free agents off the street that are coming in, which is nothing against those guys. They played hard, but I mean, there's a reason that guys get drafted and guys don't.
So do you kind of feel like this is a media creation that because the Falcons moved up and made the blockbuster deal for Julio Jones, they would not be opposed to moving up for Jadeveon Clowney? This all came about because Jadeveon Clowney said he would love to play in Atlanta.
That's a big deal.
And then everyone's saying, well, wait a second.
Yeah.
They did this a few years ago. But you just don't think it's reasonable to assume that they would do that again?
I don't think so because they got so many, not so many, but they have a few holes that they need to fill. And if they're looking forward to the future, I don't know if that'd be the smartest decision, but I wouldn't put it past Thomas Dimitroff. He's done it before, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Switching gears, Tone. I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to ask this: the Michael Sam situation in Missouri. Over the years, did you play with any guys that in the closet but knew were gay, and how did that affect the team or not affect the team?
Never knew.
Never knew.
Obviously, 17 years in the NFL, I'm sure I played with homosexual players. I mean, that's just statistically, you gotta believe that. But I don't. It's such a. I don't think it's that dicey when it comes down to it because whether you like it or not, obviously it's coming to the NFL. It's already hit the NBA.
Absolutely,
and I think it's great. If the guy can play, that's what you judge him by. But at the same, there's only going to be a small minority of people that are going to have a problem with this, and those guys are going to. It's either get used to it or get out of the way.
Or get out, right? That's what I mean. So a guy, a veteran of your stature, you think it's only going to be a few guys. So if a guy openly comes out as a good player, as far as the coaching staff and executives and his fellow players and the opposing players, he's not going to have an issue, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so at all. I think that would be, if someone did something. First of all, they're stupid,
right?
Because not only is it stupid, I don't agree with the way they're thinking, but at the same time, I mean, that's like career suicide.
Yeah, you're right.
Not saying anything.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It would look incredibly bad on him as a player and the organization, and they'd get you out of there anyway.
But here's the big thing.
That goes in his black book.
What about fans, though? You can't control them, and they can be nasty. How do you think that would affect it?
I think the fans for sure. There's going to be fans out there that are going to say what they got to say.
Right.
I mean, that's just how fans are. There's like a small minority of them too. It's not every fan, but without a doubt, I believe that definitely he's going to run into some fans where they're going to give him some stuff over that. And he's just, but at the same time, it's kind of like I was watching the Jackie Robinson movie the other night, and it's the same thing. He's going to have to be strong enough. He put himself in this position, and I applaud him for that. But he's going to have to be very, very strong to deal with this because he's gonna go through it a little bit.
Yeah, people don't realize how special a guy Jackie Robinson was. I made this point a lot on the show. Not only was he a great player under a lot of pressure, but he had to deal with all that, man, in a way where it was very, very difficult. So you're asking a lot of a guy. But did you see the combines? He had a terrible combine. Do you think he's a guy who's got a future in the NFL?
Yeah, I think someone will pick him up, but obviously he didn't help himself. Whether forget about his sexual orientation. It doesn't matter. He didn't show up and put up any type of good numbers, but he's under a lot of pressure, obviously. Yeah. And it's kind of like that Manti Te'o thing from whenever that was that last year now.
Yeah.
Where, he was dealing with all the media scrutiny, and he didn't perform well at the combine as well. But when he went back to his private workout at a school, he did a whole lot better. And you'd like to think that's what's going to happen to Michael.
Yeah, I agree.
I always wanted to ask you this, Tone. About 10 or 11 years ago when we did that pilot for Bonnie Bernstein, what was your reaction? Did you just want to hit me in the face with a bat? Or
I loved you.
Yeah.
I've been a fan. I didn't know who you were going into it.
Right.
But ever since then, I have followed you. Me and my buddy, Nick Ziegler, we're huge fans of you. He got me your book for Christmas one year. So go out and buy that book because I didn't finish the whole thing. I read part of it. It's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
A lot, and congratulations, man. It looks like you're kicking ass now.
No, listen, it's funny. I told my buddies, I told them who I was with, they were big football fans, and they said the Gonzalez, I said, I think Tony was laughing at what I was told.
I remember this. You said the greatest moment that you've ever seen on football. They asked you that. What was the greatest moment you've ever had watching a football game? And you started doing the Lambeau football voice.
Right.
As the greatest thing you've ever seen on a football game.
Yeah. It was fun. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I thought you liked it. So I've wondered all these years, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you getting the book and supporting me. Go ahead, John. Go ahead. Well, speaking of which, I wanted to say you got an app out. You want to talk a little bit about this FitStar?
Yeah. It's a FitStar. It's a training app where it's a virtual training app. The technology on this thing is amazing. I am your trainer on there.
Wow.
And it's real simple. You just go there. You fill out a little questionnaire. Your goals, your workout goals, your history, and it creates a customized workout to you that evolves with you. And at the end of each workout, you just put in medium, easy. Was it hard? Was it not hard enough? And it'll keep customizing the workout towards you. And they got over 100 exercises on there.
Amazing.
It goes on your iPad. It goes on your iPhone. You can take it with you wherever you go. It's pretty cool.
And it's FitStar.
Like I said, it's whether you're a beginner or an expert. There's workouts in there for you that I do. And people on there showing you. So it's really cool. It's the number one app on sports and on Google. It's one of the top 5 apps in health and fitness.
Wow. Is this stuff that you kind of formulated through your years of training at Cal and in Kansas City and in Atlanta, or is this you worked with another a professional trainer or something? How did you come up with these workouts?
It was both. They approached me and they said, "Hey, here's the workouts that we're going to do, but feel free to add any of the workouts that you like." And so I my warm up, I have the warm up on there which is mine. The cool down, a couple that probably around 15 exercises are actually mine. The rest are their exercises. Just trying to cover all bases, and they're going to have weights on there soon. Yeah. And they're going to keep evolving. FitStar it really is cool and it's free. The first couple workouts are free. And then if you don't like it, don't buy it. If you do, then keep going.
How long are the workouts normally? Because I need to do something. I mean, would this be feasible for just all kind of ability levels? And are we talking little kids could try some, or old people, or banged up people?
Sounds like anybody, yeah.
Yeah, is this you can cater it pretty specifically like that?
You can cater, like I said, I think it's called an algorithm or whatever. The technology, like I said, is crazy. Once you fill in your questionnaire and give your history of your exercise routines, it customizes the workout for you. So it doesn't. If you're old, if you're young, obviously I would say consult a trainer if you're under 18. Liability.
Right.
But it evolves with you, and it'll be as hard as you want it. You can just keep saying that was easy, and it'll keep making it harder and keep evolving with you. Or if it's too hard, it'll cut back and and evolve with your arms and legs. I don't know how it does it, but it keeps track of everything. And like I said, it's a really cool app. It's shot really well from 3 different camera angles. It has music on there, and you can take it with you wherever you go.
That's cool. I'm going to try it out.
Called FitStar. Tony Gonzalez. Yeah, real quick, what do you think the future of the league is, Tone, with, the penalties they're throwing about, using your head, the helmet, the tackling? Is this going to be a 2-hand touch league in 20 years? What's going on?
I know you hear people, saying stuff, and you hear from players, too, saying it's becoming a cupcake league, and
right.
We're going to put on flags and all that stuff. I don't think so. I still think the product is obviously it's the number one sport in America.
People love it.
To the television when it comes on.
Right. Yeah.
And it's going to be a different game, though. That's what people have to get used to. You can't. We want to be nostalgic and say, I wish it was like the old days, and when you can go knock somebody's head off, but you just can't do that.
It's going to evolve. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's evolved because look at the guy. Look what's happening to these guys. If people saw some of these veterans and the guys that have been retired for years, it's brutal. This sport is hard on your body, and we're not saying feel sorry for us or anything like that. We knew what we signed up for, but there is a way to make it a little bit safer, for guys, because maybe they don't realize it at the time. But when you get older, I mean, this stuff's going to settle in on you, and you got to make sure that you at least try to make it safe. And it's about money too. The NFL knows it. I mean, they got slapped with that big lawsuit last year. They have to do this. They have no choice but to make it safer, because they can't just keep giving away money by getting sued.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good answer. You covered every point in that answer. Sure, I'm glad you're being honest. Money's a big deal about it.
I got 2 things for you. What are the Falcons going to do at tight end? Is Levine Toilolo good enough to take the torch from you, or do they need to look elsewhere to kind of supplement what they've got?
No, I believe in Levine. He's a big.
He's gigantic.
7, 6, 8. He's going to be.
Wow.
What he's going to bring to the table is really, I think, red zone, because Matt's had me to practice with it for the last 5 years, where you just throw the ball up in the air and give me a chance to go get it, and that's what Levine's going to do. I mean, just throw it up in the air to him, and he's just, even if he doesn't jump, he's got a 7-foot wingspan. He's fast. He runs about a 4.7, so I think he'll be fine. He's 265 pounds. He can block pretty well. I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowl type guy. Maybe he could do that with some hard work, but he's definitely going to. I don't think they need to look for a tight end at this point. Let him go out there and see what he can do.
All right. And then what about the, congrats on the CBS thing. That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Do you know, have you guys been talking about how that's going to work out? Like, describe what you're going to be doing for them on Sundays.
Well, I'll be, picking up, filling some big shoes with Shannon Sharp being gone and Dan Marino. But working with, obviously, JB, who's one of the best in the business, and Boomer, who's been there, done that, made that transition beautifully, and doing an outstanding job from just what I've seen.
That's a good team. That's a good team. That's good, yeah.
Yeah, and Bart Scott now. He's going to bring some zany, crazy stuff. He's a real smart guy. I'm looking forward to working with him. We're both going to be rookies on the set. Yeah. And we're going to have fun. That's what I told him. I go, look, for me, just like I'm talking to you now, that's what I want to be up there on that stage and have some fun and smile and just talk football. The only thing missing is a beer on the table. That's what I want to get when they watch the show.
I got a funny feeling you're going to be fine, man. I think everything's going to work out.
You're going to do great, man.
Well, listen, again, at the Beach Bowl, you promised me you'd come on the show. You're a man of your word. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
And, please join us anytime you want. Again, the app is FitStar. Check that out. And, Tone, congratulations on a great, great career, and good luck in the future on your new one.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Tony.
Have some fun out there.
All right, man. Talk to you soon, Tony.
Okay.
That's the great Tony Gonzalez.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.